Hello, folks. Let's see. Can I turn on light? Does it help a bit? No. So, folks. Once again, I'm not getting any real light in this little corner. Again, I do plan to get some lights to help shine in my little corner a little better. I might see about turn on that light. Let's see if that helps. Even this a little bit. Uh, it doesn't help by much. There we go. Yeah, like there you go. As you guys can see, I'm still vaguely in some level of darkness. Maybe I need to get a new spot for that camera. Let's just pick you up. Okay. Okay, so unfortunately I cannot get another spot. No, that's way too far to the left. There we go. So, that's way too high now. Okay, so unfortunately, until I get those extra lights, is can barely see me. Alright, folks, it is Wednesday, which means it's another time for me to go through some Ludosport videos. Now, last week, I had a member approach me and ask me, like, if he could record the fights as well, and then give them to me for the purpose of the channel, because in order to properly train everyone, Ludosport Ireland has started doing 2 arenas, which meant that not everyone was going to be able to see basically their own fights and basically get reviews of them. So here I am with now 2 videos. I tried to make each one as okay, I can actually stretch this one down a little bit without affecting that one, because you are hardly going to see that, and you get a better image of that one. Actually, you know, let's shrink that down just a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to line them up, but I really can't. I think that's about equal. As you can see, mine one has fair bit more going on, because unlike me, the other guy, Adrides, he was able to set up his camera and then be behind it, and he was ready to press record as soon as the fights basically got started. Whereas, because of where I put my camera, I have to wait for essentially for things to get started, so I had to seek. So here's hoping that this is a decentized format of doing the videos. If not, please comment so I know that it's not like you guys don't think it's the best. I could always do 2 separate videos. However, I will say that does technically mean more work for me, because some people have been really enjoying the commentary I've been pointing out. Now, in the top bit will be Arena A. This will be Arena B, as titled. So, in Arena B, we have me, once formerly known as Nightmare, now my battle name is Doulahan, fighting off against our Dean of Ludosport Dublin. I'm not going to be giving names, as best as possible. Now, I went into that fight with the plan of continuing my work on mixing Form 1 and Form 2. It's been going well overall, but against the Dean, it puts it properly to the test. However, the Dean knows a good bit of my weaknesses, and he, as well as a glaring one that I have with Form 1, and you're going to see him exploit that, and you're going to see me essentially abandon Form 1. I'm going to basically be abandoning Form 1 at some point, and I'm curious if anyone can really notice why. I will obviously say so at the end of the fight. So all these fights are roughly 1 minute. And in Arena B, we have two very good fighters. Sorry, folks. I'm actually shivering because I have windows open and it's a cold day. But I need to let some air into the house, especially when you have three dogs. So, again, I don't know their battle names, so therefore I'm just referring to them as fighters. All right, so one of the funny things is I don't know how the commentary is gonna go because it's gonna be very difficult trying to comment on two different fights. So here's hoping it goes well. And then again, if you guys have any suggestions, the wind just blew my door closed. If you guys have a preference for doing these videos, please share them in the comment section. Let me know the feedback, because that's the only way my videos are going to get better, is if you guys give me the feedback. Let me know what you think works and and what doesn't work. So there we go. Now, as you can see, there. Yeah, I tried, but I'm not sure if anyone saw immediately with Form 1. Alright, now down here we have some nice Form 1 stuff going on. People are one of the main things I believe people are trying to practice today is the pendulum in Form 1. Seeing we're getting very good pendulum down here. Now here, again, I essentially almost abandoned Form 1 because, again, we're probably near the end of the fight, and you'll see why soon enough. Alright. So we are just going to pause this because we get a lot of feedback from our refs, so I'm actually going to try and skip over them a little bit better. Now, I apparently did not abandon this Form 1 as much as I thought I did in that fight. But basically, the Dean has very good control over his guard as well as the pendulum motion. Also, he is well aware of my weakness in terms of judging distance, so he's making a lot of use of that pendulum because he gets much more distance when he steps back than I get when I step forward. So I tend to have to go. I go a bit sometimes more forward when I'm facing people like him, but that gets me. That leaves me very vulnerable to the pendulum motion. So in this fight, when I stepped out to try and strike him to avoid his, guard, which is proper technique, just to clarify. But when I step out to avoid his thing, he still gets distance from me, but he because of how good he is, he will still potentially get the E on me at the very least. Which is why I shifted to Form 2 quite a lot. Not as much as I thought I did, but a lot, to the point where I the only times I was really getting them in O's was when I was using Form 2. I know I've heard some people say that Form 2 is supposed to be a hard counter to some of the Form 1 stuff. However, Form 1 has a very good hard counter to Form 2, and that is the pendulum motion. Now, especially when you match someone with reach against someone who probably does not have as much reach as them, And again, this is why observation is important in Ludosport, and it's also the reason why you shouldn't become reliant on like any one particular form. Because if you then face off against an opponent who is very good against that form or who has certain advantages over you, you're going to be in a lot more hard. You're going to be in a lot harder position to get those points. So, but however, I will say this: switching to Form One when I was on the defensive really saved me. It really saved me. It allowed me to keep a solid defense against him. Because the Dean, he knows Form 2 as well. We both studied together. We're both well aware that Form two's defense is in redirecting your opponent's blade and then counterattacking. So he never let up on his attack. Once he, like you might have seen a couple of times, when he attacks, he pushes a little bit. In case I went with Form, if I tried to do something with Form 1. Sorry, in case I tried to do something with Form 2. So I had to switch to Form 1 in order to withstand his counter attack. Now, down here we're seeing also a lot of good pendulum motion. I've noticed both of them are taking things nice and slow. They're trying to control. So like right there, like good pendulum. I'm just going to try. We're going to focus on this fight until its end as well. I thought the fight were for 1 minute 30. Okay, yeah, so they're now just getting their tips. So we're just going to skip forward in both arenas. So what is happening in Arena A is the Dean is trying to basically take everyone's measure. It's basically just him practicing a little bit to observe where's everyone at currently. So let's just press play. So yeah, there we go. Good Montante from our newcomer. Now again, you're going to see some mistakes from our newcomer in Arena A, but again, I just want to remind everyone he's a newcomer, but there's a load of potential there. I sparred against some last week and I've seen it. So it's there. Alright, so let's see what's going on in Arena B. Very good pendulum motion from this guy. Drydes is doing fairly well. That was unorthodox, but okay. Alright. So he's doing. Hold on, I want to rewind there. What did he do just there? Yeah, okay. There's some mistakes going on with his blocks. Yeah, I'm wondering if anyone's seen it. If he very good distance control from this gentleman here. Okay. Okay, so that he was reacting to a Levante, I think. Alright. And that was a good technique. He tried to go for Diagonale. And I think that was time. I think there's more to their fight. Arena A seems to be. We'll go over Arena A. So I was just focusing on his defense. We're just going to rewind Arena A little bit, guys. Oh, was that it? Okay. Then it was just purely instructional. So we're just going to skip. Alright, and the same goes for here. Alright, so we have another. I do want to point out, folks, real quick. We have another newcomer right here. And we have Eat My Sandwich. Um, so, yeah. Now, again, Ardeen is pushing himself. He's fighting off against every opponent in Arena A, essentially to see where they are. And there's me just with my hands up, just observing the fight. Um, Now, our member here, now, she has a particular type of fighting style which I recognize. It's very similar to my own. I am trying to change how I fight, however, but like you'll probably see her main tactic early on. All right, so I'm just going to try and press play on these both quickly. All right, and I'm just going to click that because it's easier then that way for me to pause if I need to. All right, so. All right, so the Dean goes for a laterale. And there it is. That's seemingly what I noticed she has a tendency to go for. She tends to go for the counter-offensive. She seems to particularly favor one counter in particular. It's something that people tend to be. I've seen it in multiple members, so I just want to clarify that. Multiple members tend to go for it, especially with Form 1. I'm wondering if anyone can spot it. That ratio is a little high there. So we have fun there. Like, our Dean noticed she was making she did a mistake, and they were just having some fun with it. I think right there he gave her the tip of if a Levante's coming at you, block with Levante, and that was a good diagonale. She went to block with sorry, she was at this angle, so it would have been Quinta, but because of the diagonale's approach, the blade hit her weak point. Sorry, the weak point of her blade, and he got in. Now this is a good fight here. So yeah, Eat My Sandwich, like this fight is going fairly slowly, but again, Eat My Sandwich is facing off against a newer student, so therefore he has to try and go at her pace, as well as use the techniques that she knows, which is only the first cross. And so here we go. Now, in this fight, we see that. The problem with doing Fintendes against people who are taller is, unfortunately, you have to try and somehow get your aim properly. So now, right there, he realized that he was having trouble getting around his guard, so he's trying to get him to do blocks, and then he quickly transitions to a different attack. Now, I believe that this fight actually had a bunch of dopios. Oh yeah, and there was me counting. So yeah, again, Ardeen has very good pendulum and guard, which the guard itself means that we have to make sure we use proper technique, which involves stepping out our techniques. But it does also shorten that. Basically, also shortens the distance we get in terms of between the distance between us and our opponent, and sorry, our blade and our opponent's. And then, well, it affects all the distance, basically. And for someone like me who can't judge that, it's again he is a hard he really hard counters me in terms of that, like, and when I used Form 1. But as we saw there, our member there was able to get a few attacks in. He because he was able to cover the distance in time. I got a message on Discord, speaking of which. Because of that, he tried to force him to go into a block. Now, that type of aggressive approach. Hmm. There you go. So he tried to force him to go to do a block to move his guard. However, there's a risk with that, is because the pendulum motion is the act of transitioning from one block to another block. So again, there's a lot of risk when you're fighting against a person who's very proficient with Form 1. So both fights are now over, so we're just going to try and skip this. There we go. Now for this one. Okay, and then they're going to do their push-ups. So we're just going to rewind. Nope, too far, too far. There we go. Alright, so we have two fairly new people here. Always interesting to see when new people fight each other. It can generally lead to a lot of dopios, but I don't think it did with this fight. Yeah. That was a flurry. So here we go. Trying to okay, now Atrides is once again, like, I think this is our second footage of them fighting. I cannot recall. Oh, very good use of the pendulum there. Like, today's train really shone right there. Now, there again, folks. There's going to be one particular fight I will be concentrating on at some point. He went into attack. He noticed that his opponent was going to do something, and he tried to He transitioned into the wrong block, but again, he observed his opponent, and he attempted to react in order to better defend himself. Alright, so we're just going to skip over. Okay, someone moved the camera, I just noticed. Okay. I think I know who it was. I'll probably make a small minor request, or to people during class to like be mindful of the tripods, and if you have to cross the arena, go from one side of the hall to the other, go along the edges of the arenas instead of in between the two arenas. because that's where the refs sit. I'm not sure if you could probably tell right here. We have both refs, like in the center, and the camera is standing on the tripod, in between. So it's better for people to either walk along this wall and down here, or walk along this wall and then down behind this camera. So I'm going to be making that request during which. Also, because we set up these cones and we saw that some of our members did, one of our members did walk in accidentally too close to this arena, it would be prudent to to try and remind people, stay close to the wall when you're navigating during sparring. All right. Yeah. Then. Oh no, I think it was me that actually. Okay, so it was me that moved the camera. Okay, so I thought someone might have accidentally kicked the camera. Okay. I might have moved it for the worse. Okay, now this is the fight, guys, that I really want to talk about. So after we're going to pause it there and then focus on this fight for a little bit. Oh, okay. So I'm actually going to enlarge this fight because eat my sandwich. I've been saying it from like fairly early in his training that there's a lot of potential with him. He does tend to panic a little bit when pressured, but there are clear signs that if he can get over his sort of panic, his reflexes would make him very like his reflexes would translate extremely well to great defense. So I've seen it when I was training with the dean when I first joined Ludosport. He was not the dean at the moment. He wasn't even an instructor at the moment. In terms of our training, we're technically on the same level. We're both waiting to start Course Y. Hopefully, we'll be starting Course Y within a year. Knock on wood. But like, so I'm very well. I've seen some of his early Form 1, and he had an issue of panicking. But once he got over that panic, his defense skyrocketed, and I see it. I see it in Eat My Sandwich. I don't know if that's still his battle name, but it's the battle name he had when we got our hoodies, and I'm reminded of his name because occasionally he does wear the Ludosport hoodie. So, again, I've seen it in him. I know what he could potentially be he could be a beast with his defense. I'm also highly looking forward to when he does transition to Form 2. Hopefully when me or the dean pass our instructor course, knock on wood. So like again, so in this fight I decided to pressure him a little bit. I tried to get him over his panic. Now there was an exercise that we did with our previous instructor. I don't think Eat My Sandwich did it, but there was an exercise to help us with the panic. And essentially, our instructor would circle us, and he would just start barraging us with attacks. Start off slowly, and then he would speed up, and he would get faster and faster and faster and faster. And the idea was he would just overload us with so many attacks, it basically inoculated us, you know. So just watch this, folks. I hold a little bit back, but like, oh. His defense in this fight is amazing, and like his reactions, like he stops his attack, he's immediately reacting to what I'm doing. Like right there, see? He even goes on the offensive very quickly. Now, unfortunately, because I moved the camera, you can hardly see it, but he is circling. He is trying to move sideways. Alright, so look. So again, I had to compliment him there. I do it again. I then try and mix it more from one, but like right there, he is not letting himself. Another thing I want to sing praise of is he has a tendency to get himself floored because when he gets pressured with those attacks, he retreats too much. But in this fight, folks, he is not letting himself get floored. And again, I have to sing his praise because again, it's a huge improvement. And again, any amount of improvement needs to be praised. And I have not seen him fight recently, but like to me, it's a big improvement. I don't know when this happened, but again, I'm going to compliment him. Now in this situation, I encouraged him to go on the offensive. So even when I did my counter offensive there, he quickly transitioned to a block, which is really good. There, and I tried a technique to power through, but unfortunately, exhaustion. Now, right there, I remember there is like, how are you still going? And then he's like, how are you going? So like, uh, he saw because again, like he saw what I saw in eating my sandwich, and again, he wants to point out like that was really like well done. Okay, so and then I decided to go off, have a word with him, and explain to him like, because again, like I feel like confidence is probably his issue, and I need to help build up that confidence because I know he can fight. I just need him to believe. And again, I hope people saw what I saw there, which is again very quick transitions to blocks, very quick going from offense, a very fast reaction of going on the offensive to then going onto like canceling his attack, going into a block. Like again, that type of reflex is very good and it becomes very important as you progress in Ludosport because again you're not going to know when your opponent's going to go on the offensive. You need to be able to quickly transition to going on the offensive to the defensive. So all right, so let's just continue with down here. So there we go. Very good Levantes just there. Now, as you saw there, she did go for the counter offensive once again. So, I'm hoping she's watching these videos because it's a glaring thing she has a habit of repeatedly doing. Now, like I do notice that I have a very big weakness when it comes to my laterales, and it's something I do want to address at some point. Nice one. So yeah, see, she has a habit of trying to go on the counter offensive when someone does a vendente. Dopio, just there. That's like that's the thing I noticed. It's like she has a dislike for being on the defensive. I don't know what it is, but like there's like fair enough. She's going for the advanced. Um, hold on. Okay, I'm surprised no one she didn't call it out just there. But both of them start doing the very kendo technique. Um, oh, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know what that kendo discipline is. Is when you hold both fighters are in their guard, and the idea you would quickly whack your opponent's hand and then strike, like you'll just bring it down. That's not a thing. As again, as far as I'm aware, as of currently, the pendulum motion is not a technique in on itself. It's a transition from block to block. And nowhere in Form 1 are we told to purposefully smack down at our opponent's blade. Which our member here did go back. Like, again, from what I understand, with the pendulum motion, your blade hitting your opponent's hand or any part of their body is technically meant to be more of a happy accident of you properly transitioning to going from one block to another. It's supposed to be a happy accident, but I don't think he was doing anything when she did it. Like, okay, he was. So yeah, he was going for a montante, which means she would have brought her blade. Okay, now she right there. She's purposely trying to actually hit his hands. Like, like right there, she's actually trying to hit his hands. She's not right there. She wasn't transitioning. One sec, folks. I had to deal with my dogs. Sorry about that, folks. My mother just came home, and my dogs were excited to see her. So yeah, as I pointed out, in one of those techniques that she was very much fishing for the bearer to demonstrate. So instead of going to again, sorry, running up and down the stairs. So with transitioning, at least from the down attacks, to the down attacks from either terza, quarta, quinta, and sesta. When you're transitioning to prima and seconda with these techniques, that's when you get the very slicing motion. Your blade, using my mouse, your blade should typically go in. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, your blade is typically doing that type of motion. So like, and then from quinta and sesta, like if I'm going to from quinta, as we'll say sesta, because this should be the tip of the blade. My mouse icon should be. If I'm going from sesta no, sorry, it should be more the hilt. Yeah, it should represent more hilt. If I'm going from quinta to secunda, it should be more of it should be like like that. You're technically bringing your hilt down, and the blade will follow the hilt. So here's the blade, here's the hilt. So it should be more of so you are slashing, essentially through an imaginary thing. And the same goes from quinta to ting. So again, there is a very slashing motion. There's if this is the tip of the blade, the thing you should not be seeing is your opponent trying to actually swing for your hands. And then there's also that, like, just and we see him now mimicking. Okay, so I think okay, no, actually, I heard it there. She did call them on it just there. Not to fully explain like what they were doing, but she did call it, especially on the trusting that he was doing. All right, and here we go. We see our official getting into the arena. I enjoy watching her fights. They're always amazing. So we'll skip to the next. Oh, was that it? Okay, so we're actually done with the fights in Arena A. Alright, so you know what, for the last bit we're just going to zoom in and we're gonna hyper focus on this fight. After sitting down for a while, she needed to properly warm. She's a little far, but again, this is sparring, it's not an official tournament. It's a bit of a handicap, but there we go. Nicely done. Unfortunately, there was that. Oh, that was a no. I wonder what she's working on. She's not as energetic as I sometimes see in her fights. Okay, that nice one. Nice. I think she was going for a counter attack there, but realized he had distance. No one getting any fairly clean O's. And Flore! She like, well done on her pushing him into a Flore. That I think would have been a doppio. Let's rewind briefly there, out of curiosity. Was the blade fully? Yeah, okay, that would have been a doppio. Her blade was, I think, in proper end position. Yeah, it was in proper end position. The only thing is, because of height difference, and he has a tendency to really lower himself, it did not make contact, but he got the O on her side, but because she would have technically died, the blade would have then went down on top of his head. So, like, when someone does, it's a habit I've seen a lot of people do, and again, it's a reflex I'm guilty of as well. But a lot of the times when people go for, when their opponent goes for a quinte, you will see a lot of people go for a very quick laterale, which is not it's not a bad thing. However, I notice, and again, as I said, I'm guilty of this. There's people forget to step out with their laterale. They go for a very quick laterale, which results in them staying under their blade. Now, if you do a proper laterale with a step out and then a compass, you should be able to, move yourself out of below the fendente, which I don't think we saw there. Yeah, see? It looks like he went to step, but instead he ended up leaning back. Like, he's sort of like, he's in a very bad position there, and he basically kept himself underneath. Let's see, I want to see where was he going with that. Now he's another opponent who has exceptional reflexes. Okay, so he was trying to step in that type of. He was trying to go around this way, but I don't know why he kept himself. The way his foot was sort of like outstretched, it looked like he was leaning. But yeah, and I think there's time for another fight there. Yep. Another round. There we go. And there we go. It's like she. It's like the warm up phase is over. A lot of quick successionary techniques. Very good. Again, that's him with high reflexes action there. As soon as he gets the E, he goes in. Now I myself included. There's sometimes a habit of getting an E, but not capitalizing on it. But very well done on him. Yeah, and it was time just there. And then yeah, it's not long till he calls everyone to circle up. So on this, we're going to transition back to my camera. Rewind, back up the seconds. So I pick up my camera, and yeah, so actually, so yeah, on that point, actually, because there will be no point if I do that. No, it's big screen again. Again, folks, I'm still trying to. No, don't do that. There. Oh, again, it's just trying to get everything, proper. There we go. Let's fast forward this. Oh. Alright, so. Because I cannot press play on both at the same time. Yes. um, there's no. There's no good way of doing these. Yeah. I wish I had the proper thing so I could properly synchronize everything, but I don't. Again, I like the. I'm enjoying it. However, going forward, because the only reason why we were able to do something like that was also because of members that did not give me their permission to have them on camera were not there, so therefore I was able to. So we were able to bow being footage. However, going from next week onwards, when those people are around, we'll only have one camera do the final salute. But yeah, folks, that is pretty much the fight, like all the fights. And again, I know I know I dedicated a good bit of this, but it needs to be resaid. Some of the improvement I'm seeing in some of the fighters is truly incredible, and I'm glad that I've been able to help with their improvement in terms of providing some kind of tips or just simply being there whenever they need, doing just simple exercise. Like, we all contribute to one another's growth. Like, my growth is also thanks to them. My growth as a Ludosport athlete is thanks to everyone within Ludosport. They provide as great opponents. They allow me to, like, there's the simple fact that they are my partner. In some cases, they're my partners for doing the exercises that helps us learn the techniques and practice the techniques. like we're all learning together and we're all helping each other grow. And that again, that's one of the great things about Ludosport, and I truly, truly love it for that. Um, and again, like I've known Eat My Sandwich and his brother for quite a while, and like, and again, it's like their improvement, it hits a little harder for home because, like, again, I know they sort of struggle with the sparring aspect of it. So now finally seeing, their potential starting to shine through, like like it's like a diamond, like you're mining, and then, like, you see it to shine. It's like that scene in like the start of the Hobbit where the dwarf, is hammering out, mining away, and then the I cannot remember what the stone was called, but the rock breaks away and that stone shines through, and like, and it feels like, I feel like that, like seeing the jump in improvement is just so satisfying. And I'm not gonna lie, it's moments like that that make me really, really want to pass my Form 2 instructor course, because I want to get some of these people that I feel like would be great in Form 2. I want to get them there. I want to see them, rise. I want to see them flourish, and I do feel like Eat My Sandwich will do great in Form 2. Like, I feel like a good number of them will do great in Form 2. And I just want to get them there, We need instructors, and I'm hoping to be one of those instructors to just sort of like help guide them, towards that. Which is why, like, I even tell, now mind you, I do tell everyone about, like, some of the flaws in Form 2. Like, I've told them, like, I remind them of them, every time we come close to a tournament. I'm like, okay, well, keep in mind, you need, pendulum motion is your best friend against Form 2. Form 2 does not have steady defense. So when you go on the offensive, don't be afraid to keep your blade, in that position and give it a little bit of a pressure. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm just loving the progress people are making. And I'm actually now glad that I do these videos this way, because I can now properly vocalize how much I'm enjoying, like, that. I do watch these videos. It's just I never gave commentary on the videos before, and so, like, you're going to hear me, like, okay, do I point out some mistakes? Yeah, like, I point out my own mistakes quite a lot. But when even though I point out a mistake, like, for example, when our opponent was doing that whole stuff, like, okay, and then also the predictive fighting, predictive methodology to her fights. Like, okay, did I point them out? Yes. Does that mean I think she's a bad fighter? Hell no. She's an amazing fighter. Like, the fact that she's able to pull off so many counterattacks is, speaks to her being a great fighter. I'm just trying to, point out, like, she could, maybe mix in with different techniques. And if she's watching this, I hope I hope you just take what I'm saying at what I intend it to be. I intend it to be constructive criticism rather than, just criticizing you. Because, like, everyone is a great fighter in this sport. Like, now, are some people still rough around the edges? Yes. But does that mean I want them to stop? No. I am so, I'm not even an instructor, and yet I'm so proud of the progress everyone is making. And sorry, like, I'm saying the same thing over and over again. So we're just gonna end the video there, folks, because I feel like I'll just be constantly seeing their praise. And unfortunately, I should not dedicate a whole video to just being like, oh, this person's amazing, this person's fantastic. I really should try and keep it to point out a mistake, point out a positive, point out, well, sorry, point out a positive, point out a mistake, point out a positive. I should really try and keep it to that. Instead, but again, I can't help it. I am proud. Anyway, this is the Celtic Nerd. Sign out. Again, folks, let me know what you think of this new format in terms of doing the two arenas on top of each other, or would you like me to do two separate videos and then basically just have commentary dedicated on each individual arena. Like, this video is about an hour long, but I will say I've saved a lot of time on this. But again, if you guys feel like I should do two separate videos, please let me know in the comment section down below. One name, one sky.